Hey guys, it's Tuesday. I'm Lawrence Presman. You're watching Puck Time. Pleasure to have you with us. Today's show, Alex B. Smith, still a little under the weather, and Carmine Bianco. 5 games today. We'll take them all apart. And just to let everyone know, we will be doing a show tomorrow. There's 2 games on tap. And then on Thursday or Friday, Andrew McGinnis and I will be doing an NHL All-Star show where we'll look at some of the bets available for the All-Star game. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there are no games in play. So today's show, 5 games. Tomorrow's show, 2 games. And check back for the All-Star edition. Let's bring the boys in. Let's start with you, Alex. How are you feeling, my friend?
Not the best. Just dealing with a little bit of a cold seasonal kind of thing, and I mean it's freezing here in Minnesota, so these things tend to happen. But like I said, thankfully we got the All-Star break coming up, so I can kind of rest up. But good slate of games to talk about today.
That's for sure. Carmine Bianco, I ask you every day how you are. You're on the keto diet now. How much have you lost?
Yeah. I weighed in yesterday was the start of week 3, weighed in, and I'm down in 2 weeks, 17 pounds.
That's unbelievable.
So
congratulations.
Nice.
It is. Well, this is, you have to, and Lawrence, listen, Prez, you know me. I love my carbs. I essentially eat as much pizza, lasagna, pasta, you name it. I love it. Bread. The restaurants bring you that basket of bread before your meal, and I literally go through that basket and ask them for another one. It's I grew up this way, but I had to change. When you turn 51, you just don't burn them as you did when you were younger. I wish I was like Prez, who goes to the gym literally twice a day, 7 days a week, and he's in great shape. I'm getting there, working out, and this was just a jumpstart eating better. So, because I'm off to Vegas for the Super Bowl, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to shoot some videos while I'm out there. And the goal was 25 pounds.
Yeah, dude, 8 more to go. Congratulations to you. 5 games on tap. Before we get into them, let's give out a promo for our good friend Tony Finn, best handicapper maybe in the world. I'll put him against anybody. He's on fire in absolutely everything right now. Guys, I took $100 off of his month. Regular price $349. I think I did more than $100. Well, it's $245. So head over to WagerTalk.com and use the $249. So it is $100. So use the promo code Tony249. I will fix the bottom of the screen right now because I messed up. So head over to WagerTalk.com and use the promo code Tony249. $249 for a month of all his plays. Alex, let's start with you, bro. Vegas on the road playing Boston. Minus 150 for the Boston Bruins with a total of 6. And, look, we saw Vegas beat Ottawa 4-2, and then they came back the next night and lost shootout to Montreal 5-4. This team just isn't right now. They've lost 5 of their last 6. The Bruins, though, have lost 3 of their last 4. I think the dog is live here, Alex, but I just won't bet against Boston.
Yeah, I'm going to stay away from this game altogether. We've talked about all year about how Vegas simply just does not look like the same team that they are on the road away from home, but even more so when they're on the East Coast. They seem to get caught up in some really bad spots against even against some of the weaker teams. You look at, they get shut out by Columbus. They get into a 5-6 battle, lose against Philly. The close game against Ottawa, rather 4-2. They end up winning that game, but then bouncing back and then losing 5-4 to Montreal. So these are the spots where for Vegas it's just tough to play them when they're on the East Coast. But conversely with Boston, you look at their last game when they give up 4 unanswered goals just yesterday against Pittsburgh, a team that they had beat previously. It just seems to be a tough sledding for both of these teams. There's a couple other spots I like more than this game, so it's a complete pass.
Carm, where are you at in this one?
I can't back. I gave out the Bruins as a free play earlier online. I can't back this Vegas team right now. They're just inconsistent right now, and I think one of the big reasons is they're usually like cool as a cucumber goalie. Marc-Andre Fleury has been anything but this season. He's like 1-3-1 his last five. 16 goals allowed in those 5 games, and although he's 3-3-1 his last 7, he's allowed 4 or more goals in 4 of those 7 games. This is a guy that they usually rely on as their backbone. He helps them steal games. We've seen it. We saw it earlier in the year. I think it was against the Leafs where he made that what they're calling the save of the season to win them that game. They're used to having him when they're not playing well defensively, to sort of backbone that their D and make some saves that keeps them in the game. They're not doing that right now. The Bruins are reliable at home. Listen, they're one of the better road teams, so one of the better home teams. They picked up wins in 4 of their last 6 at home, points in 5 of their last 6, and you got Halak in net. He's 4. He's 4-0, 1.71 goals against average against the Golden Knights. So for me, it's the Bruins. I liked it at a short price. When I gave it out, it was at I think it was $1.35. It's now taken money to $1.50, and I think it settles in around this price. Maybe comes down a bit for anyone that wants to try or thinks that Vegas plus money has some value. But I can't take Vegas until I see them turn the corner. And even then, that's even with that coaching change. They still don't look any different than they did before.
And it's why I'm passing in this game because I feel like the dog is live, but something's not quite right with Vegas, and I can't bet again. I can't bet against Washington. I can't bet against Boston. I can't bet against Tampa Bay right now. I mean, you're just better off passing on these games. Next game on tap: New York Islanders on a very small, short road, playing the Rangers. Basically a pick'em game, -105. Over and under in this game is 6. The Islanders have lost 3 in a row, and the Rangers are playing really good hockey. They've won 4 of their last 6. They just lost to Columbus, which to me is amazing because this Columbus team, they just keep rolling with nobody on it. Very, very impressive coaching job by the Fonz himself. Alex, I'll go to you first in this game.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what to do here.
I would just keep rolling with Washington or with the Rangers here. They've won. They beat the Islanders in the last 2 meetings that we saw over this past week. A 6-2 win and then a 3-2 win. They said now coming off of a close 2-1 loss against Columbus. I could see them bouncing back here, and a lot of people probably want to look at the Islanders saying because of the fact that they had lost the last 2 meetings in just such a short span, but clearly there seems to be a matchup advantage here. Georgiev's in net. We've been talking about it for the last several weeks now about how at some point he's going to get moved somewhere, so he's still in that kind of audition spot and still been playing some pretty good hockey. So I'd roll with the Rangers here tonight.
Carmine Bianco, my friend, where are you going in this? I mean, I can't bet the Rangers. The Islanders just got beat by them 2 in a row, and it's hard to beat the same team 3 times in a row, especially when that team is better than you.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think you nail it there in that sense. The Georgiev showcase continues tonight. He's in net tonight. They're gonna obviously he won the first 2 games against the Islanders, so he's in goal again tonight. They're showcasing him, and they're asking too much right now for him. I think they're looking. The Leafs came up in the topic, and they wanted someone like Kapanen. They're not going to get Kapanen for Georgiev. Never going to happen. It just doesn't make sense for the Leafs to make that kind of a deal. But someone is going to give them some type of draft picks or prospects that is in need of a good goalie or a backup goalie, and Georgiev sort of fits that mold. But we have to remember, it's the last few games that Georgiev has looked good. There's a reason why the Rangers want to move him. If he was that good, they would be holding on to him. It's not Varlamov in net tonight, and he's been in net for I think the last 2 games. It's Greiss in net tonight, and he's never lost to the Rangers. I I think he's not in regulation time. 7 starts or 7 games, 4 wins, no losses, 1 OT loss. The other 2 appearances he came, I think it was one of the previous Ranger games where he came on after Varlamov was shelled for 5 goals or 6 goals in that 6-2 loss. I like the short price here. You're actually getting the Islanders at, I believe, minus 105 here, and I'm going to take them for what you mentioned, Prez, which is a very good point. Sometimes it's very hard to beat a team 3 in a row in the same season and over a short period of time. I think these 3 games have been played over the course of like 8 days. So they're familiar with themselves, and I think the Islanders push back a little bit tonight and get the win.
Yeah, that's where I lean, dude. I mean, the Islanders are just a better team than the Rangers. And yeah, I am with you 100%, bro. Winnipeg on the road playing Carolina. And Alex, this Carolina team has scored like 7 goals in 5 games. They were scoring a ton earlier, and they've just shot it down. They've also lost 3 of their last 4. They did have a nice shootout win against the Islanders. And Winnipeg, they just can't seem to get their act together. Lost 2 in a row, lost 4 of their last 5. I got to look at the favorite in this game here. I got to look at Carolina at minus 179, although I'm going to take it in regulation time. So Carolina in regulation time for me. And, you know, even though Carolina's not scoring, I do lean on the over, but I'm not going to get to the window.
Yeah, I would actually be looking at the under here. Like you said, the fact that Carolina's offense is dried up, and so is Winnipeg's. You look at their last 2 games, they get the 5-2 loss against the Hawks. They didn't have a lot of quality chances in that game. They got crushed 7-1 against Tampa in the game before that. And then you throw out the win they had against Vancouver. The game previous to that was a 1-0 shutout loss to Nashville. So both teams are struggling offensively right now, making a lot of mistakes in their own end with the puck. That's what I saw mostly from the Jets last night in that Hawks game. Same thing with Carolina. I wouldn't be trying to lay a price here with either of this. I'd be going with the under 6.
Carm, where are you at, brother?
So, you know, it's the same thing. We've seen Winnipeg struggle at home. They get on the road, and somehow they seem to find wins when they get out there. I just can't understand this team right now. You know, the one thing that really stands out for me, like Hellenbruck, he falls into that core category that, you know, he's just overworked. I think it's like the Freddie Anderson thing. He's literally started 20 of the last 22 games for this Winnipeg team. I understand he's like 21-4, 21-15-4, but he's dropped like 3 of the last 4, and he's been pulled in 4 of his games. You don't often see that from a goalie, pulled 4 times in starts throughout a season, and especially a starter. It tells you that he's not always on top of his game. When you talked about, excuse me, when you talked about Carolina, you know, drying up in goals and stuff, you look at, if it's Mrazek in net tonight, he's like 1-4 his past 5. But look at the score lines of these games. He hasn't gotten much support. 3-2, 2-0, 3-1, and then 4-3. You know, playing Washington twice, Tampa once. But he's 5-2 against Winnipeg, and if he's in goal tonight, it's the Hurricanes for me, and I'll take him in regulation time because I do not want to lay $1.80. Guys,
again, real quick, Tony Finn, $100 off of his monthly package. Use the promo code Tony249 over at WagerTalk.com, and trust me, that is a monster of a deal. As well, Brian Leonard, just getting the scroll up here, 17-10, 36-24 college basketball run. I took a fair chunk, $50 off of a week of his plays. Regular price $119. It's yours for only $69. That's 7 full days for under $10 a day. Head over to WagerTalk.com. Use the promo code Brian69. That's Brian69. Pittsburgh on the road playing Philadelphia. This Pittsburgh team, just unbelievable. Really getting the best out of every player. Just beat Boston, beat Detroit prior to that, won 6 of their last 7 games. But Philly is playing good hockey, Alex. They've won 3 of their last 4, including a 4-1 win against the LA Kings. Philly's at home tonight. They're plus 120. I lean on the Flyers here. I think there is value you just don't really want to get in the way of the Penguins.
Yeah, I get where like I said, there's value on the Flyers tonight, especially if you look at how Pittsburgh played in that last game where they had to come back to down 3-0 early, but Boston just fell flat in the last 20, 25 minutes of that contest, and Penguins came back and get another victory. But here's, like I said, now going into the All-Star break, I can see where both teams will probably play a little bit sloppier than usual defensively. I like to look at the over here for the first period and the full game. I think we're going to see a lot of goals here tonight.
Carmine, are you with Alex on this?
I like Pittsburgh. It's Jari and Elliott and net. And, with Carter Hart being out, the Flyers are a completely different team. They've been great at home. You want to get on the road, not so much. But they need Carter Hart. They got to get him back. He won't be back until after the All-Star break. Elliott I'm not really sure. He's not one of those goalies you want to overwork. He just doesn't do well. I understand, they went over the Kings, they went over the Blues, but his core numbers throughout the season aren't very good. I think he's like 7 and 8 between the pipes this season. I'm not really sure if those are the exact numbers. And the Flyers, and the Penguins just keep winning, and they're getting healthy. They get, I believe, watching on the Newswire this morning, I saw Justin Schultz should be back in the lineup tonight. They're getting guys back into the lineup. They haven't skipped a beat since Crosby came back. They've won 3 of 4. That one loss was to the Bruins, but he just looks absolutely like he hasn't missed a step. Yeah. Sometimes you see a guy come back and you're waiting for him. It seems like he's come back in mid-season form, having missed so many games. They're playing well. 11 of their last 14 they've won. 3 of those 4 losses were against like upper echelon teams, as I want to call them, like the Bruins. That 4-1 loss, they lost to the Panthers, who were playing really well at the time. They're just playing very, very good hockey right now, and I just don't want to get in front of. I know these are rivalries. When Pittsburgh and the Flyers meet, you just don't know what's going to happen. These two teams have a hate for each other, and the Pens beat them earlier this year. The only matchup, 7-1. That was with Crosby in the lineup. I'm leaning to Pittsburgh here at a very short price.
He's Carmine Bianco. You can find him at WagerTalk.com. Alex B. Smith at SportsMemo.com. Remember, everybody, it's $2 Tuesdays over at Sports Memo and WagerTalk. Andrew McGinnis, who will be on the show tomorrow, is the $2 Tuesday handicapper over at Sports Memo. And the legendary, iconic Tony Finn, $2 Tuesday over at WagerTalk, and he has a 5% play, our highest rated play that you can get, and it's his $2 play. So head over to WagerTalk.com. Make sure to purchase Tony Finn's $2 play. And like I've said many times, if you don't want to play his play, but you want to tip us for doing all this content, well, $2 works for me. Go over to WagerTalk.com and grab Tony Finn's play.
Before you get into the last game, can I just say one thing? Yesterday was Tony Finn's birthday.
Yes.
So on my way home late night, I call him. I'm driving. I call him on speakerphone, whatever, Bluetooth. And do you know where Tony was late at night?
At his desk working.
At his desk working away. And he essentially said he would be there for another 3 to 4 hours doing content for the site, for his plays. The guy is a complete workhorse. It's unbelievable. And he didn't even sound tired. And I understand Vegas is three hours behind us, but I was still coming home late, and I just couldn't believe he had such jump in his voice while on his birthday, when most people are out celebrating, getting drunk, eating, whatever. He's at his desk working away. So kudos to that.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, that guy does not sleep. He sleeps at his desk 3-4 hours a night. And it shows, man. I mean, it shows in his handicapping.
What's the animal that doesn't sleep? I'm not really. Is it a marsupial or marsupial? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think koalas only get like 3 hours of sleep on average or something like that.
Well, that animal would be called the Tony Finn. Florida. This team is rolling right now, boys. They've won 5 in a row. They beat Minnesota, Detroit, the Kings. They whooped Toronto. They beat Vancouver. They're playing lights out hockey. They're really, really fun to watch. It's a wide open game. Really good skaters on this team. They look to be good on both sides of the ice. They're playing Chicago, and I'll tell you, and you know this, Alex, because Chicago is your team. They're on fire, too. Something's got to give. They've won 5 in a row, and they've beat good teams along the way. Winnipeg, they beat, then they were on the road, whooped the Maple Leafs, beat Montreal, beat Ottawa, beat Anaheim. Something has to give tonight, man. But with that said, I look at this game and I think to myself, Florida's a better team. And I'm getting a very short price, plus 100. I have to look at the Panthers here, Alex.
I'm staying away from the spot. There's 2 reasons. There's 2 backstories. One developing and one that we've already known about. The one we've known about is Coach Joel Quenneville returning to Chicago. Obviously, there's going to be a big hold, long to do ceremonies and different things. He was named Coach of the Decade by the NHL recently. A lot of things to look at from that angle. But also, I'm reading reports that there was a fight in practice today between Captain Jonathan Caves and Duncan Keith.
Wow, those guys have been
that's exactly all about.
Those guys have been together for a decade.
Exactly, and Taves is not a guy to really fight much of anybody. So I'm curious to see, and I'll be following, and follow me on Twitter. I'll be posting stuff to see what came about from that. But that's interesting. It'd be one thing if they were on a losing streak and you saw a fight that happens. It happens between teammates sometimes, but the fact that you're winning and playing good hockey and have a scrum like that, it could be a bit concerning. Not really sure exactly, but I'm just going to stay away from this game. Like I said, both teams are playing very, very well. If anything, I'll be looking at the first period over. You got to let it, but the Hawks are picking it right back to where they were last year. They've gone over the first period total in 12 of their last 13 games.
That's a great statistic. And Carm, I like the over in the whole game. I know it's 6.5, but both these teams are scoring. What do you like in this one?
Yeah, that total was originally at 6 last night. I thought to myself, it wasn't going to last, and it really didn't. I understand it's 6.5, and it's shaded to the under juice-wise at minus 120. This is, and it's funny because I just want to go on what Andrew asked yesterday. He goes, when do you jump on a team with a streak? And both these teams have 5-game winning streaks. But I did a look ahead at their schedules, and they really have some tough spots coming up right after the All-Star break, which I don't think they can continue these winning streaks. And they're just playing well. I just love the way this Florida team is playing. I'd like to take them at plus 100 tonight, but their goalie is unconfirmed, and it's likely going to be because it's on. They're playing back to back. They won. They stole one at the end in the last 5 seconds against Minnesota last night, and it's likely going to be Montembeault in net tonight. And he's only played like 6 games this season. I think he's like 4-2, 3.35 goals against average, and that save percentage again under 9 at .888. He's never faced the Hawks. It's going to be Lehner in net tonight, and he's been great. 15-7. 2.81, 9.24, and he's 9-1 his last 10 starts for Chicago. But then I throw in the stat that he's only 2-5-3 against Florida. So it's a mix-up, and it's probably why the price is where it is right now. I'm going to wait to see who the starting goalie is. I would love to see Bobrovsky in net, thinking, hey, it's a back-to-back, and then the guy's got 5 or 6 days off before the All-Star break, so start him again. Your team is on a roll. If he's in net tonight, I'm taking Florida.
Carmine Bianco, WagerTalk.com, Alex B. Smith, SportsMemo.com. Guys, I can't thank you all enough for watching Puck Time, commenting, liking, sharing with your friends. The promo codes on the show was Brian69. That's $69 for a week of all his bets. And also Tony249. That's $249 for a month of all of Tony. Andrew McGinnis is the $2 handicapper over at Sports Memo. Tony Finn is the $2 handicapper over at WagerTalk.com. Make sure to check out Drew Martin's podcast today. He's got Nick Borman to talk golf and soccer. And, of course, Joe Ranieri's college basketball show with Ralph Michaels, and then his NBA show with like 4 guests. That show's phenomenal. And it's live, so check out when that'll happen. We will tweet it out. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. 2 games on tap. Andrew and Buster will be joining us, and then check back Thursday or Friday for the All-Star Game preview show. Later, boys.
Good luck, boys.